Welcome to the first episode of Branded Intent. My name is Brian. I'm joined by
Jay.
And together we decided to put this podcast together. Both of us have been helping content creators for years, and we see a lot of the same problems and challenges over and over again. So season 1 is going to be all about branding. This show's broken up into seasons. Every season is 3 months long, 10 episodes. We're going to take a 2 to 3 week break in between and, circle the wagons and prepare for the next season. But that's the purpose and intent of this. This show is for content creators, made by content creators. Jay, anything to add to that?
No, I think you wrapped it up pretty good on first wrap. So
Awesome. So today's episode, we're going to talk about branding, and Jay is the resident expert. So I'm going to lean on him to do most of the talking.
that's great. It's almost perfect that I have a fear of public speaking. Well, just to reintroduce myself, my name is Jay Alba. I've been a brand developer for the better part of the last 5 years. A little bit more focused on the content production side. A lot of the clients that I run into or work with, I mean, these are very, very similar and repeating pain points as far as they have their business, their product, their service figured out, but the branding's falling short. So first thing that we really wanted to talk about was the importance of a strong brand identity. Now, identity is human. That's actually a very crucial part of the human experience. Every individual, they experience it through high school or their teen years, and some of us never quite figure it out. Now, trying to figure out your identity for your business is almost a little more abstract than finding it for yourself, which is why this is such a hot topic right now. There's a lot of people going for personal branding and branding for their own companies. So people buy from people. This is the most important piece of branding and identity. People buy from people. They don't buy from corporations. They don't buy from robots. They buy from people that they can trust. Now, your company is comprised of tons of people. How do you make an identity that fits everyone within that company and something that your customer is going to relate to? That's what we're going to be covering this entire season. So, Brian.
I like to circle back to before you start working on any project. In my opinion, you need to define a few things. And number one, what are the personal values you're going to bring to that project? And this might sound like an elementary exercise, but every time we open up a new worksheet to create an episode, our values are listed and our values are reviewed. So we can ensure that our talking points support our values support the content, and it's more personal. So having those values written out, well-defined and in place and looked at every single opportunity that we create for ourselves, it's very, very important. In addition to having these values written out, a mission statement. If you cannot articulate in writing what your intent is for anything that you're doing, you're going to run into hiccups. And writing that mission statement out, and again, this isn't a forward-facing customer mission statement. This is my internal document that myself, Jay, and our production team understand and review. And if somebody sees us deviate from that mission with spoken word action or a social media post, they're going to call us on it, and we're going to go ahead and remove it because it doesn't support our mission. So having that mission statement and having those values written out, defined, and understood is going to help you when it comes to brand development. It's going to help you when you have to write a social media post or create a blog article, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I like taking customers back to that before we start any other process at all.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that.
Please.
So most of us, if you're listening to this, you're most likely an entrepreneur or you're a manager, right? In my experience working with go-getters, oftentimes they want their hands on the wheel at every single touch point. Having a mission statement and your values and your vision actually defined allows you to remove yourself to a certain degree so you can actually have more time for yourself in your business to apply where you need to, and have your, you call them your soldiers or your team members. Um, they have a compass, they have a North Star. So it's really important to actually have these initial, your mission, vision, values. It's really important to have these defined, not only for yourself, but for every other person you work with internally down the road.
Jay, I've got a real world example of this. When I started Sitch Radio, one of my verticals going on 7 years ago.
It's been 7 years.
Almost, man. We're working on our 7th year.
Wow.
I decided that my mission statement was so important to what it is we were doing. It is the tagline of Sitch Radio. We are here to help you tell your story. Now, why is that so important? I have people approaching me all the time. Hey, I've got this project. Would you like to get involved? And the first thing I do is stop and think, does that time, energy, resources, funds support my mission? If not, it's an easy no. And it helps me stay on track to support those who rely on us to help them tell their story. And my time's not being stripped away working on fun or helping somebody out with their project because it doesn't really support my core mission.
I don't know how to bleed from there to storytelling.
It's pretty profound, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that one's pretty good. There is a segue between "We help you tell your story," the Sitch Radio slogan. Is that your slogan or is that your mission?
It is both. It's our tagline and our mission statement.
Mission statement. That's pretty good.
I refined it to less than 10 words.
All right. Well, the importance of storytelling and branding. The fact that Sitch Radio is focused on storytelling, helping you tell your story, is huge. But the role of storytelling in your branding, it's how you get people to connect with you, people you've never met before. What does that first touch point look like? One of the first forms of communicating in humanity was storytelling. And I mean, you can go back, you see everything in caves, cave art. Those are stories. Those aren't just pictures or art or graffiti. It's a way for one person to communicate to another. With your branding, the importance of this is this allows people who have never met you before, who have seen you for the first time, or maybe they've seen you multiple times. It's a way for them to connect with you on more of a tribal essence.
There's nothing more powerful than a visual that supports and tells a brand story, coupled with some text that illustrates, describes, shares that brand story. And if you can tell a story that describes your brand supported by that visual, that's what it's about.
Right.
That's why people hire Jay.
Yeah. They don't hire me to talk, I can tell you that much. In video production, I mean, you guys have heard this in off cuts, off scenes, bloopers, but in video production, we have a saying, show, don't tell, right? If I were to talk about all the people that I've worked with and how great I am, I would look less respectable, right?
Agreed.
But if I produced quality product, we're gonna reference Harmon Brothers a few times through the season, but if I produce quality product like the Harmon Brothers, the advertisers, people would already know that I was a quality producer, right? So you want to show people, you don't want to tell them. And the same thing goes with your content. So if you're in real estate, or if you're a general contractor, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I can get you the best deal on whatever service or product this is. It's another to actually show them how good that product is and to show them how good that service is.
You have a note here, and actually I might have put the note there. I'm not sure, but Patagonia.
Yes. Patagonia is one of my favorite companies, actually.
What a story. What a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And did I put that there, or did you put that there?
I want to claim that one. I don't know which one of us did, but I do know Patagonia is one of my favorite companies. I'm 31 right now at the point of recording this. But most of my 20s I spent in the surf industry. I was actually a manufacturer. So glass shaping, and sanding surfboards. I've hit over 10,000 in my career. One of the companies that stands out, which for most people will probably be more outdoor lifestyle, but in surf is Patagonia. Um, why do people connect with them? Their story started out as a bunch of kids that just wanted to be outdoors. They didn't want a job. This was back in the 70s, 60s. They didn't want the corporate job. They didn't want to, not that they didn't want to get married, but they just didn't want the 9 to 5. They wanted to be out in the dirt and the mud and the water. They wanted to experience the world on a very visceral level. And none of them had money. None of them had money. So they all eat like together as a group. They brought their skill sets together. They started making their own products and equipment. Very old school, for ice climbers and backpackers and climbing. They would make their own. They would blacksmith their own equipment. Fast forward to 2015, 2020, they're actually one of the leading companies in land protection globally. There's actually a whole documentary about their work in Chile and Patagonia, specifically what they're named on, and that's where this group of kids would end up going. They also have done tons of work in the surf community with waste management, which, if you guys don't know anything about surfboards, they are not biodegradable. And Patagonia is one of the leaders in actually minimizing the footprint that the surf community actually leaves behind. It's a unfortunate byproduct, but this is one of my favorite companies, and their story is amazing.
It is amazing. And to this point, I actually only own 2 pieces of Patagonia gear, and I wear them almost every day. And it's a vest in cool weather. And I've learned to appreciate what they do and why they do it. To that point, I wanted to support them, and that's why I bought a piece of Patagonia. And I think the way that they tell their story on their website, which we will link to in the show notes, is awesome. You have short little paragraphs with a visual behind it, and it's fun to read. It's fun to look at every once in a while, and they're not all Patagonia product. There's pictures of families getting together and things of that nature, and of course some of their hardware that they built over time, and the family, back to the falconry days. Did you know there was a California Falconry Club back in 1953?
I did not, but that doesn't surprise me.
I wonder if it's still around. I want a falcon.
It'd be kind of cool. I think maybe once I hit 50 or 60, if I
Is that a dig, bro?
It's not a dig. That's actually on my bucket list, is getting a falconry.
So, if you take a look, I don't want to jump ahead too much. So I'm going to go back to my notes, because we planned out a few episodes, and I've got a lot of talking points I want to share, but I don't want to get ahead. And one of the points of these episodes is to be short, micro content almost only, but to get you thinking about what it is you're doing, and whether you're trying to create a name for yourself on TikTok, or whether you're trying to start that next great YouTube channel, or you're an entrepreneur starting a company. Every episode, you're going to have actionable takeaways, and they're going to be nuggets of information. These episodes are going to drop weekly, one a week for 10 weeks straight, couple months off, or a couple weeks off. And we'll roll into the next season. So 4 seasons a year, 40 episodes a year, unless we get, crazy and want to drop a bonus every once in a while.
I'd be down to do a couple bonuses.
We'll see about that. But we're going to do our best to also have a value add download that you'll be able to download visiting one of the websites. And those links will be in the show notes as well. So we really want this to be a show that you're going to be able to learn a little bit. It's going to make you, hopefully help you think in a different light or direction than you have been thinking, and help you accomplish your mission.
Yeah. I think that basically sums it up. I think we're both working on separate projects that really support this podcast. So as that gets released, we'll definitely be dropping links, not trying to do shameless plugs, but the goal here is to help people. Like I said earlier on in this episode, a lot of my clients run into the same pain points, and this podcast is a way to actually sidestep all of those. So you could technically brand yourself by the end of this season, or the end of the year, depending on how fast we get done with this. So
Absolutely. And, every episode is just going to build on the next. So to recap, if you do not have a values list established and defined, start there. Create that mission statement. What is your intent? And it's okay to say, I want to earn X. My intent is to 10X a revenue. It's an internal document. But part of that mission statement should be, to help my customers or viewers or listeners achieve whatever pain points your show's here to solve. And our show is here to solve the pain point of being a content creator, or the pain points content creators face along their journey.
Mm-hmm. And then my last sign off, as far as your identity, how you communicate with people, how you show up and present yourself, not only personally, but with your business as well. What story are you telling them? Maybe that's something to reflect on. If you haven't had that figured out, if you haven't set aside time to actually sit and think on that and define it, I would implore you to do that.
So. Well, that's it for season 1, episode 1, Jay.
Pilot check.
Knocked it out.